What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. I'm once again joined by Christy, and we are back to talk about Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 6. We're going to go over the leaks of this episode. So we're going to be discussing this episode in full, the biggest things that are going to happen in this episode. So this is a spoiler, so if you guys don't want to be spoiled, turn away now. So what we're going to do with this video, we heard a lot of you guys in the last video. We want to talk about the things that are 100%, this is going to happen this episode. And then we're going to go into what seems to be a divide among the leaks for this episode. The first and major and possibly only thing we know with 100% certainty is Jon Snow will end up killing Daenerys. Now, we did talk about this in several videos a long time ago. We kind of called this. This was a prediction or a theory we had talked about, but this is going to happen. Daenerys is going to still be on her kind of crazy phase, giving her speech to everybody in King's Landing. We see that in the trailer. Jon will try and talk to her. Tyrion is going to try and get Jon to turn on her. Jon won't technically do it. He'll try and talk her out of things and have a conversation with her. She'll ignore him. He'll pledge his allegiance to her and then stab her and kill her. So Daenerys will end up dying in this episode. It won't even be at the end of this episode. You can kind of expect that in the beginning to middle of the episode. So after that, things start to get a little bit murky. The ending has two different leaks to it in terms of what is actually going to happen with a lot of the remaining characters. So we're going to be going over both of the endings that have been leaked and kind of talking about some similar themes. There are some similar themes that can happen in both of these endings.
So as Alex said, there's a big divide on the endings. It's also been said that they've recorded multiple endings, which is also why there could be a divide, because it could be that someone found one ending versus someone found the other ending. But either way, one of these endings are going to happen. One is that there's going to be a king's council made and they're going to decide who's going to be king. It won't be Jon because he feels his guilt over killing Daenerys and he's going to take the black. And I know you're thinking, why is there a black in the first place? The Night King's dead, etc., etc. But Bran tells them later that there's always going to be a Night King. He's always going to come back, and therefore the realm will always need to be guarded and watched over, and therefore Jon will take the black. And so a king's council will get formed, and Tyrion gives a speech about why it should be Bran at the head, and therefore Bran will be elected as king, and then there will be a council formed, which will have Tyrion, Robb and Arryn, Sansa, Bronn for some reason, and the new Prince of Dorne. And then the next ending is that Tyrion goes on trial. Daenerys has him arrested for betraying her yet again, and after that he's put on trial, which Jon and Daenerys aren't actually a part of his trial, but he does have a trial in which Bran tells him that he would do it all for his family, and that's kind of like making him guilty. And then it was recorded that he died in that scene, and it was recorded in studio, so that we don't really know how he died, but he does die. So that's the second one, basically, is that there's this whole thing formed and that Tyrion dies, and then the King Council still happens, but in a different way, that Tyrion's not a part of it and that Tyrion doesn't have Bran elected. But either way, the King's Council is the ending of the Iron Throne, which puts Bran on the Iron Throne.
So there you have it. Things that are basically 100% confirmed is Daenerys will end up dying from Jon. I know the trailers kind of did make it seem a little bit like Arya could, and I know people would have one opinion or the other on if Arya actually would do that, but it does seem 100% confirmed that Jon will be the one to kill Daenerys. Also that there will be a council. Again, the divide in the leaks seems to be with Tyrion, whether his trial is going to happen and die in it, whether the trial is going to happen and he won't die in it, or whether there won't be a trial at all and there'll kind of be an election, Bran as the head, the king of the Seven Kingdoms, but still having a council and him not actually, he'll be more of the figurehead, like there is kind of in a normal democracy.
With all the leaks said and done, I know a lot of people on the last video took this as this is what we wanted to happen, and also kind of just got mad at us for the leaks because they were like, it's like we planned for this to happen or we wrote the show. But let's make it clear, we do not agree with any of the direction that season 8 has gone. I think these leaks are, not even just the leaks, I think that in general, the episode that's about to come, episode 6, is at best okay. Not great, not amazing, nothing like that at all. I think that it's very rushed. I feel like they really rushed episode 6 an insane amount. I feel like it's not very put with all the character arcs. honestly, I think all of the character arcs have just been thrown in the trash all this season. I think that Daenerys turning into a mad queen has been sort of led up to this moment, and I feel like they've kind of hinted at it in the past and along the seasons, and you have seen her slowly slipping, but in a matter of like 2 episodes, they really just threw it at her. They were like, all right, you're going to snap now, and then you're just suddenly mad. All of us, you just kind of go into it. And then on top of that, they really made Jon a side character. They pushed him to the back. He was leading us through all of this just to do something like kill Daenerys, who is supposedly the person he's in love with. He's going to easily just, I mean, I'm not saying it's easy for him. I'm sure the actor is going to, you know, it's going to be hard and everything like that, the character itself. But I don't think it's good. I think that Jon wouldn't do something like that. I mean, look at people in the past that have done things wrong to him. He didn't do the same for them. Melisandre, for example, she straight up burned Stannis' daughter alive, and Jon found that out, and all he did was banish her. And you're telling me he's going to just kill Daenerys when, you know, other people have done insanely wrong, and then people have followed Cersei and forgiven her even for a lot of the things she's done wrong, including burning that church down, setting wildfire along, and that church burning down and breaking down killed tons of people in the town too. And also she was starving the town, and that's why when she went through the streets, people hated them and threw stuff at Joffrey even. But yet she's forgiven easily too. So I don't think that it's right for Daenerys' character to suddenly just get the end, you know, the bad end of the stick, basically, is that they just kind of threw her off. And I really just feel like this whole episode is extremely rushed, just not played out very well, and just kind of, I don't want to say sloppy writing, but it's not great writing. I feel like they should have taken the deal to do the 10 episodes and took the time to do everything that they could have done and make this episode great in a great conclusion for all the characters. And I'm not saying a happy ending, because this is Game of Thrones. We never expected a happy ending, but at least some kind of ending. You know, I mean, if you've seen, you know, a lot of movies that have ended tragically, you take Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War, for example, that ended tragically. Tons of people were dead in the end, but it ended in an amazing way. And I feel like this had the same potential to end in an amazing way. Whether all those characters did end up dying, Daenerys for sure dying, Jon dying, all of them dying, it would have been fine if they did it the right way, or did it in a way that was very impactful. But now it's just kind of like Jon's going to kill her and we're going to be left with, wait, what? Why? You know, it just seems pointless at best.
I agree. I mean, I think this episode overall, I mean, it has some key features that I think we honestly expected. Going into the season, there was belief and there were talks that Daenerys would end up dying. So we kind of expect that, right? Going through the season, you know, could she end up dying in the last episode? Could she die before that? You know, who are these characters that could die in the, battle for Winterfell and all that kind of stuff? And when we end up getting down to it, that obviously is something we expected. The council, I do think, is a good idea. If they do form a council, even with Bran as the head, that's fine. You know, that's totally cool. And that's, you know, I think when Christy's saying it doesn't have to end perfectly, like a happy ending for everybody, that is still a thing that you can totally do no matter what ending you have, where that's kind of for the good of the realm. They're changing things up, right? The Iron Throne kind of is no more. They're going to go into a more democracy kind of thing, where people have their say, and different factions have their say, different houses have their say, instead of just one person. So that's a good thing. But in terms of just how, like Christy said, in terms of just how the actual season went, not good. We're going to be talking about it. And we want to hear from you guys if those are kind of things you want to hear from us going forward. We are pretty vocal about our displeasure in this season of Game of Thrones. We know there's been a lot of other YouTube channels, a lot of other people out there that have done it as well. We're going to be talking about Game of Thrones next week. We're going to be doing a lot of videos once this is over. So let us know in the comments below of this video what you want us to talk about. We're planning on doing something along the lines of what we would do differently, or what we would change about the season, or everything wrong with the season. So we do want to talk about the flaws of the season, and it's, there's just a lot of them. We've seen a lot of problems of the past episodes, and we know, the writing has been very, suspect at best, but they've made a lot of mistakes, and they continue to make a lot of mistakes. In this upcoming episode, from all the leaks that we've seen, we're expecting even bigger mistakes. So those are everything that we know is going to happen in Game of Thrones. There's smaller things. There's Arya seeing Jon again. So there are some things that are going to happen. Obviously, you know, they have to fill this episode up. But those are the biggest things that are going to be happening in Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 6. And if you guys want to go back and watch any of the past seasons, any of the past episodes of Game of Thrones, we have a link in the description below. It's a Fandango Now affiliate link. If you click that, if you buy or rent something through that, it helps us out on the channel. But you can go back and you can watch any of the old Game of Thrones episodes. They're all there for you. You can rent, buy them. You can link your Fandango points if you get the VIP points when you go see a movie. If you guys saw Avengers Endgame, you can earn points there. And you can use them, you can redeem them on Fandango Now when you rent or buy movies or TV shows. So it's a nice little thing you can do with linking them. If you guys are interested in that, definitely check out, like I said, that code in the description box below. So we want to hear from you guys, though, in the comments below, just like you guys did last week. What do you think about all this? You know, is this kind of leading to a pretty bad series finale or a good one? Do you agree with what they're doing, or would you change it? Let us know your thoughts on all that in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And again, we've been covering a lot of Game of Thrones stuff. We've been reviewing every single episode, talking about Game of Thrones. So this Sunday, we will be reviewing the series finale for Game of Thrones, and we'll also be talking about the season as a whole all throughout videos next week. So we got a lot more Game of Thrones coverage coming. We appreciate you guys watching, as always, and we hope to see you there.